everyone, and welcome back to a new video on realizations. The 3-month international exchange term where I studied in France, traveled to 12 countries across Europe, got to experience a different way of life, all while backpacking as a student, was probably one of the best experiences that the IIM Bangalore MBA got me. I got to see some of the most beautiful places on earth like Hallstatt, Interlaken, visit Iceland, see the Northern Lights, try some amazing activities like the craziest activities that were on my bucket list. Skydiving, trekking with the most beautiful sceneries behind me, ice skating, eat foreign cuisines, eat in different countries with the nationals, study, make friends, make international friends. And all these were experiences that had a very deep mark on me. While I was experiencing all this, I also made a 50-part series called 50 Days of Exploring, where I documented all my journeys, what I was seeing, what I was experiencing, what I was eating. And I'll be linking that video in the description so that you can check it out if you haven't already seen it. And in spite of such a detailed documentation, I still get a lot of questions about the exchange term, about the criteria, about the money involved, about who can go, who cannot go, and many such questions. So I thought of sitting down and recording this video about everything that you need to know about the MBA Foreign Exchange Program. So let's get straight into it. And of course, the first question is, what is this international exchange program? And to explain it to you briefly, this exchange program is basically an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding, or a tie-up between an Indian B school and a foreign university, where they agree that, okay, every year some students from my college will be coming to your college to study and vice versa. Yes, so Indian students go to study in a foreign university for a term, and some exchange, like some foreign students may or may not come to the Indian university. And this usually happens in term 5 out of the 6 terms of the MBA program. Now, the next question is, how do we select that which are the colleges that I'm eligible for, which are the colleges that I can go to foreign exchange for? So the short answer is that it depends on the universities that your Indian B school has tie-ups with, right? And mostly Indian B schools have a tie-up with universities across Europe, ranging from France, Germany, Belgium, Switzerland, even the Scandinavian countries, Finland, Sweden, plus a few Southeast Asian countries, including Japan, Philippines, some African countries, and some seats also open up for USA and Canada. Yeah, so it keeps on varying year after year, and for your particular year, you can get the exact stats either from your seniors who went last year or from your institute website. Now, the next question is, what is a single degree exchange program and a dual degree exchange program? So the most common exchange program that you know about, that you may have heard about, is the single degree, where Indian students go to these foreign universities just for one single term, which is term 5, as I already mentioned. But there are also limited seats for a dual degree exchange program, where Indian students go to these foreign universities for 2 terms, which is term 5 and term 6. And these dual degree students don't just get a degree from their Indian B school, they also get a degree from this international university, and hence the name dual degree program. But bear in mind that these 2 terms, like term 5 and term 6, these are the last terms, and usually the final placements happen in term 6. So very limited number of students are okay foregoing their placements, or if they already have a PPO, then only students choose to go for a dual degree program. Then the next distinction is attending versus non-attending exchange programs. So as the name suggests, attending exchange programs or attending B schools are those where, just like your Indian B school, you have to attend all the classes and all the other programs of this B school. You are exactly like any other student in that B school. I was a part of attending exchange program where I had to attend 80 to 90% of my classes. Now, the other side of this coin is non-attending B school or non-attending exchange programs, where you are not expected to attend all the classes. You're very flexible with your time, what you do, how you travel. You may just need to do all that is required to pass in that course, which is to do the presentations, to pass the exams, and of course come and give those exams. So this is the preferred kind of colleges that students want to go to, because for most students, exchange is just about travel. They are not going majorly to learn or to study in these foreign universities. They see exchange as a ticket to travel to Europe as a student. and therefore you need a very high CGPA to be able to get these limited non-attending B schools. The next question is course selection and credit. So how do I choose the courses that I will be studying there, and how are credits evaluated? Because if you're aware, during your 2-year MBA program, you have to complete a certain number of credits to get your final degree. So how does this happen? So as soon as you're selected, like you finally selected the B school where you will be going for exchange, you get the list of courses that this college offers, and depending on the marking criteria as to how many exams you need to write for that particular course, or the timing of that course, if you're planning your travels around certain dates, depending on all these things, you choose 5 to 6 courses to accumulate a minimum number of credits that you need from that foreign university. That's how you accumulate credits. And coming to the kind of courses that these colleges offer, they are very similar, even a tad bit easier from the kind of courses that you get in Indian B schools, ranging across the same topics: strategy, finance, marketing, maybe even economics or sustainability. Same kind of courses. And there is this one criteria that you may not take the same courses that you've already done in your Indian B school, because then that would be a repetition. So that's another criteria that certain colleges induce. And now comes the most important part, which is the selection process. Because there are 600 students in your B school, but not everyone can go because there are only limited number of seats. So how this happens is very straightforward. So every year the college releases this list of all the colleges and the number of seats available in each college, whereas there is the other list of the ranking of the students based on their CGPA or any other criteria that the college uses. And there is a bidding. There is a bidding where every student gets to submit their priority order. And using these and the ranking order, you get a college that's available after everyone above your rank has selected, and you get your college basis that. So for example, rank 1 will easily get whatever they could put in their first priority. Rank 10 will get whatever is left after ranks 1 to 9 have selected, and this goes on. So depending on the number of students who are bidding for exchange universities and the number of available colleges, different percentages of students or different ranks of students get to go on exchange. IIM Bangalore is the college which has the most number of exchange seats, and usually around 35 to 45% of students from IIM Bangalore are able to go on exchange every year. The next question is, what if I get selected from exchange but something happens? Maybe I don't get a PPO I was expecting, or something comes up at home and I don't want to go on exchange anymore. So in that cases, usually the penalty will depend on how close to term 5 are you dropping out. In some cases, it could be a dropout without any penalty, but if you drop out just maybe before going on exchange and that seat gets cancelled and no one else is able to go out in that seat because of you, then you may have to pay a certain penalty of any amount depending on your college. And yeah, you can still drop out. Next comes the most talked about part of going on an exchange, which is the cost and finances. Yes, it's really expensive, and this is the part where students get most surprised. A lot of people have this assumption that because you're going on exchange in a tie-up with your current university, most likely the university bears the fees. But no, that's not the case. The university only bears the tuition fee of this international exchange university. So for example, if you still pay your term 5 fee as you would to your home university, you just don't have to pay the hostel fee and the mess fees, because of course you're not using these services. But other than this, you don't have to pay any amount to this foreign university. But other than this, everything else, ranging from visa, insurance, flight tickets, accommodation, internal travel, food, everything has to be borne by the students. Yes, the student has to pay everything. Yes, there are a few countries or colleges that do give a scholarship for the exchange students coming there, but the number of students who get such scholarships is very, very low, and most likely you cannot depend on it. Of course, no harm applying. Go ahead, apply. Every year 2 to 5 students get that scholarship, but you cannot depend on it. Now, coming to the next things, which is how do you finance this kind of an exchange program? So before I come to financing, like if you ask me how much did my exchange cost, I had made this video about the complete breakdown of my exchange expenses. My to and fro flights costed me 86,000 rupees. Visa and insurance costed me 31,000 rupees. The EU Rail 90-day pass costed around 54,000 rupees. My 3-month Airbnb accommodation in Lille costed me 1.5 lakh rupees. Accommodation, internal travel between cities, metro, buses, and all the activities that we did costed me roughly 1.56 lakh rupees. Food overall costed me 70,000 rupees. Stationery expenses here and there, which costed me 30,000 rupees. And it roughly costed me around 7 lakh rupees. But bear in mind that this was in 2023 and the Euro Indian rupee exchange rate was approximately 92 rupees. But right now, as of today, that same exchange rate is 111 rupees. So that itself adds on to the amount that you'll be spending today, plus the inflation, of course. But roughly, if I were to give you approximate expenses, my flights to and fro were approximately 60 to 70,000 rupees. Accommodation was another 1.5 to 2 lakh rupees throughout these 3 months. Then there was food, there was internal travel between the countries in trains and flights. Then there were a lot of these activities. Skydiving itself costed me approximately 25 to 28,000 rupees. Yes. Now coming to financing, most students do not have this kind of money saved up that they can just go and spend on exchange. So yeah, either students take a loan for it, or if they have some past savings, then they use that up, or they take money from their parents. So yeah, you can basically take up the full expense that you will be bearing for the exchange term via the loan. It's fully covered in the same loan that you're taking for your tuition fee and the living expenses in your Indian B school. So that's covered. Even if in case you had not taken or sanctioned this kind of an amount, an additional 7 to 10 lakh for exchange, you can still get that additional amount sanctioned if you later decide to go on exchange. That's not a problem. Next comes the logistics parts, which is a visa, insurance, how do you plan the travel in between the countries, accommodation and whatnot. And no one tells you how much time consuming and tiring this is. So the first is visa. If you're traveling to Europe, you will either need the Schengen visa, which covers all the EU countries, or a visa from the home country. So for me, I got a French visa because my home country was France. I was going to study in France. And to get this visa, you will need like the acceptance letter from the college. You will need a proof of accommodation there, as well as the to and fro flights. You'll also need to have taken an insurance and a lot of other things. Of course, your college, both your Indian college as well as the college where you're going to be studying, helps you get these documentations. And the visa process is more or less straightforward for students going through this route. Of course, there could be n number of delays owing to different things. So it's always advisable to start this process much before time, usually 2 to 3 or 4 months before your date of departure. And there is accommodation. Depending on whether you are going to an attending or non-attending college, you will either have a proper base where you will be living full-time, and even if you're traveling, you will go to other countries from that place, come back, attend your classes for a certain period and then travel again. Or if you're going to a non-attending colleges, what I saw some of my friends doing is they did not actually have a base anywhere. They took up a locker in a country which was like a very low cost, and they dumped all their stuff there and they backpacked across the country. Or another thing that some students did was like 5 to 6 students together took up a very cheap apartment in a place which was again more like a luggage storage, or maybe when someone was tired of traveling so much, they came back and rested there. And other than that, everyone else kept traveling with medium luggage that they could take care on their own. Then another thing that's very, very helpful for all students going on exchange is the EU Rail Pass, which is a 90-day pass that lets you use all the European trains for free. Yeah, once you've paid for that pass, which in my time was roughly 57 or 58,000 rupees, for 3 months, you can travel on unlimited trains through unlimited courses and journeys. So that was a lifesaver, because then after paying that fixed amount, travel was practically sorted if you were traveling by train. Okay, so now that you know pretty much everything there is to know about student exchange, the next question some students ask me is whether they should go on exchange or not. And this might probably be the most important part of this video, because yes, exchange is optional and some people really want to go, but for some it's a smart choice to stay back. So who are the students who should definitely go on exchange? One, if you're someone who's like been dreaming of this since long. For example, a person like me, who before even entering the B school, I was aware of this exchange program and I knew what this meant for me. I knew I love traveling, I love adventure, and I could not let this opportunity go of getting to travel. So just think of it, when again in your life will you get uninterrupted 3 months to travel low budget, to travel countries like all together as a backpacker, as a student? So yeah, it is a once in a lifetime opportunity, and if it's a big thing for you, then please go ahead. The next is someone who's very intrigued by international a way of life, or if you're someone who later wants to work and live abroad. So this could be a starter pack for you to understand what is life like, what is work life in such countries. If you're someone who has a very solid profile and you're more or less sure that you will get a good summer placement and most likely a PPO, and you're someone who will not stress too much about the final placements, then why not? Because if you're someone who really is interested in meeting new people, interacting with students, building a network, then yeah, definitely go there, make some friends, make some international friends. And most importantly, you have to be okay with the kind of financial commitment that student exchange requires. Now, coming to the people who should think twice or maybe not even go for exchange. So if you're someone who has a very low GPA and you did not even get a summer placement of your choice, and you're not sure if you will get a PPO, you're really afraid, then you're better off staying back, working on your CGPA, participating in case competitions throughout term 5. Because imagine this, scoring in term 5 is relatively easier because like the top 100 to 100 students of your college who were pretty much the highest rankers have left. So yeah, scoring becomes slightly easier. Then again, if you are someone who holds a position of responsibility in the college clubs, you are either the chief coordinator or the club secretary, then by policy, you are ineligible to be going on exchange because the club needs you, right? So people who are part of the placement committee, the academic committee, they are unable to go on exchange. So again, this is something that you have to keep in mind when you're applying for these positions. Or if you're someone who's already traveled extensively to these countries which exchange offers, and you don't see any novelty in it, then maybe exchange is not for you. So that's a wrap on everything you need to know about the MBA Student Exchange Program. I hope it was helpful or a fun watch for you. I hope it answered your questions if you're someone who's looking forward to go on exchange, or even if you're someone who just looks at this as a motivation for studying for CAT. And yeah, I was thinking of making a few more fun videos around exchange about my time there. Let me know if you would want to see some fun content like that. And yeah, I'll be back with more MBA B School upskilling related content. So see you in the next one. Till then, bye bye.